Hello friends and welcome. Let us imagine this scene. Your family is preparing for Mass on Sunday morning. A peaceful morning. But you're becoming a little bit anxious because the time is getting rather tight. And then one of the younger kids starts acting up. You get so frustrated that you just lose it and start scolding him or her. Will you just stop it? We've got to go to church right now. Stop it or I'm going to give it to you when we come back from church. I suspect this is not an uncommon scenario in our families, mine included. Now let's ask ourselves this question. How inclined will our children be to bonding with us when we as parents lose our temper or get impatient with our children or get easily upset with them at home? How attractive will our faith be to our children if we behave this way when trying to engage them in some practice of the faith, such as gathering them for prayer or bringing them for Mass? I would think the answer would likely be not at all, right? Yet, as evangelizers of our children, we must, as Pope Francis once said, not look like someone who has just come back from a funeral. Our children, indeed all of us, are instead drawn to goodness, beauty, and truth, and joy, which is why we are drawn to people, events, and things which exhibit these qualities or help us experience these in one way or another. Why? Because as we have mentioned before in our segments on the theology of the body, we are made in the image and likeness of God, who is truth, goodness, and beauty. Not only are we made by Him, we are also made for Him. And once we have found Him, we will find joy. Joy in its purest essence, a joy that no one and no circumstance, no matter how adverse, can take away from us. As Jesus Himself tells us, your hearts will rejoice and no one will take your joy from you. So now let's delve a little bit more into what joy truly is. Is it a kind of good feeling that we have when something good happens to us? Like striking the lottery, or when our children do well in their examinations, or when we're having some fun time at some party? Well, such an emotional state is highly dependent on external factors that make us feel good. But joy, true joy, goes a lot deeper than that. This joy, as Pope Francis said, is not just positive emotions of feeling cheerful. Instead, the Gospel's joy is the joy of having been chosen by Jesus, saved by Jesus, regenerated by Jesus, the joy of that hope that Jesus is waiting for us, the joy that even with the crosses and sufferings we bear in this life is expressed in another way, which is peace. Peace in the certainty that Jesus accompanies us and is with us. Put in another way, it is okay to feel sad when something painful happens in the family. It is okay to grieve when a loved one passes on. These are normal human reactions and emotions. We cannot and we must not deny them. Yet, despite these pains, our faith in the infinite love of God, according to Pope St. John Paul II, transforms our lives and fills us with joy. And when we experience this joy, it will show, it will be infectious, and it will be attractive to our children. And when that happens, our children will be drawn to us even more, and through us to Jesus, the source of that joy. Finally, how can we continue to grow this joy in us? Pope St. John Paul II tells us emphatically that true joy grows through unselfish love. In other words, joy grows through loving as Jesus loves. Is this easy? Not at all. That's why we need God's grace. Because as St. John Paul II reminds us once again, this joy demands unselfishness. It demands a readiness to say with Mary, "Be it done unto me according to thy word." So, allow me to conclude with this summary. 1. God is the source of our joy. 2. Our faith in His infinite love fills us with joy and transforms our lives. 3. Our joy grows through self-sacrificial love for our spouse, our children, and others. 4, this joy that we have and show will draw our children closer to us and through us to God. And therefore, 5, go and have fun with them, enjoy good times with them, doing things together that they would enjoy, and have a healthy sense of humor, yeah? Share that with the kids. God is not a God of boredom, but a God of joy. So as we end this episode, let us ask ourselves the following question for our reflection. How can I be more joyful in my disposition in a way that can draw my children closer to me and to God? Friends, we have now completed the foundational series of parenting for Catholic parents, as well as the ABCs of connecting with our children. With these as our base, we are now ready to move on to more specific areas such as sexuality education and managing the use of social media and the internet and so on. But before that, I would like to share with you 3 interviews we had with various experts. The first is an interview we had with Dr. Penny Tok, a clinical psychologist in private practice, during which we spoke about anxiety and self-harm in children. We followed this with an interview with Dr. Jennifer King, a senior consultant pediatrician at the Child Development Unit of the National University Hospital. In that interview, we spoke about how we could help our children flourish. And our third interview was with Mr. Brian Shen, a much sought-after speaker and counselor cum psychologist who spoke with us on the psychology and importance of affirmation. We thought these interviews were a fitting way to round up what we've discussed so far in our earlier episodes. Following these 3 interviews, we will begin the next mini-series on this channel, Sexuality Education. In the meantime, take care and may God bless you and your family always. Goodbye.